This week on Ted Lasso, emotions run wild in the episode Man City. I wonder if that episode name has a deeper meaning. Maybe they all do. It's just like in season 2 of Better Call Saul, how if you rearrange the first letters of the episode names, it spells out Fring's back. So maybe we should do that with all the episode names of season 2 of Ted Lasso. Okay, now if we rearrange those letters, we get Important Bath Charms. Got control, Ted? WTF. BS. Haha! I solved your code, writers of Ted Lasso. Now I know to expect some important bath charms in the final episodes. All this and more, all on today's.
Yeah, we're watching season 2. Yeah, and we'll make you smile too. Heaven knows we'll try.
Thank you so very much, Matthew Winkler, for that splendiferous theme. Welcome to Talkin' Ted. I am Mike. I'm your host. Holy cow, did a lot happen in that last episode. Well, we're 2/3 the way through the season, which means we're at the halfway mark. So let's see the ranking of all the episodes of season 2 so far. Now, a lot of people are saying that they think Man City was the best episode of the season. Forgive me for straying away from the pack. Currently, it sits in 7th place. I love Rebecca and I love Sam, and I root for them to be together. But I feel they went into romantic montage mode way too quickly. It would have been so cool to see like maybe a 10-minute stretch of time of seeing Rebecca explore through this new scenario and eventually get there. Now, if I have one universal gripe about the show, it's that from time to time, it could be a bit on the nose with its needle drops. Like within seconds of each other, we are hearing "Don't Look Back" in anger, followed by "Somewhere Only We Know." I mean, where are we? In the back of our friend Chris's car in circa 2004? We all know that reference. But those are my major gripes. I think that the Ted Sharon plotline, I feel that that was a really nice development to see in action. I think it moved in an organic direction. And I feel that phone call with Ted, talking to Sharon, talking about his dad, I think that moment was fully earned. So I think that was a hard thing to accomplish, and the show pulled it off. As well, I think the whole Wembley Stadium segment of the show, some of my favorite filmmaking that the show has ever done. I felt like we were aliens in a foreign land entering Wembley Stadium. I think the show played us like a fiddle to see just how resoundingly the team lost to Man City. And I think that the segment with Jamie and his father, I felt like I was there. I felt like I was just a witness and I was powerless and paralyzed. And I do think the episode is setting us up for some amazing things to happen in the back half of this season. But in the meantime, let's talk some Ted. Let's meet our special guest. Please welcome my guest, JP Antonacci. JP, how are you doing today?
Hey, Mike. I am doing great. How are you?
I'm having a great day. Thank you very much. Very happy you're here. Let's get into it. How long have you been a fan of Ted Lasso?
Ted Lasso?
Yep, this is Talkin' Ted. We talk about the TV show Ted Lasso here. JP, what's up?
Mike, I've never seen Ted Lasso.
How have you not seen Ted Lasso before, JP?
No, look, I've heard of it. I know it's great, but I don't have Apple TV. I just haven't got there yet.
Well, why would you agree to be on this show if you have never seen Ted Lasso before?
Because I thought we were talking Ted Danson.
Why would I have a weekly show about Ted Danson?
Why wouldn't you? The guy's an international treasure.
Okay, true, okay, we can pivot. Recapping shows that people know, the actor's always the same. This is the show where everybody knows his name. Thank you so very much, me, for that remix of pre-existing theme songs. Welcome to Talkin' Ted Danson. I am Mike, I'm your host. Let's get to our main guest. This is JP Antonacci. JP, how you doing today?
Mike, I am so delighted to be here talking about one of my favorite actors, performers, probably entertainers of any stripe. So It's a great pleasure to be here.
Chattin' Cheers. I was pretty young for a Cheers fan. I feel like I was a fan of it like even before I was 10 years old.
For me, I didn't have the exposure that you did to Cheers. I had to do a bit of I think I was and remain a big fan of Frasier, but had to go back and appreciate Cheers sort of in retrospect.
Of the Frasier episodes that have the different Cheers characters coming back, the one with Ted Danson is my favorite one.
It's fabulous.
Yeah.
When he's like, I didn't know you had a brother. I thought your father was dead. All that stuff is so so good.
There was a great episode, a great Sam and Rebecca episode, where they are thinking about adopting a child. And so we see all of these possible flash forward future scenarios, but it ends on a really soulful and somber note, but which is a great thing that Cheers did, was having big laughs, but also when it needed to take it down a notch in like humor and tone, it bravely did that. Babbling about Becker. A cultural blind spot for me is the TV show Becker. What was the central conflict? Like, what was his character?
He was a doctor.
He's a doctor. Okay.
Yeah, Dr. John Becker. He runs a practice in the Bronx, I think, or Harlem, somewhere in New York.
Becker. Okay, lasted 6 years, 129 episodes.
Which is amazing. 6 years. Like, I didn't realize it was that long, but that's a long time to stick with that. I don't think the concept grew too much over the life of the show.
We got Hurley from Lost. He was on the show. Oh, we got ourselves the guy that played Bob. I remember him from an episode of Seinfeld. I think he was like a prop comic. Oh, we got ourselves Elia Baskin, who played Alexi. We all know him from being Tobey Maguire's landlord in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films.
Of course.
This seems to be an ensemble of journeywomen actors who are surrounding this titan, the titan that is Ted Danson. How much did it play off of the audience's knowledge and love of Sam Malone?
Well, this is a question I'm going to turn back to you because I think it's a good one, and I'm going to lean on your Cheers expertise a bit. So Sam, certainly one of the heroes of the story, people, an audience favorite, sympathetic figure, I would think, right?
He was absolutely sympathetic. Yeah, the fact that he so desperately wanted to get back in the major leagues and he couldn't, but then by the end of the show, he just fully fell in love with the bar.
Yeah, that poignant last image, right? Isn't that poignant last image of him in the bar alone? And we're closed. Yeah. Beautiful ending scene. Played so well. And you're right, conveys all that. I think then you're onto something. I think that the Becker writers and Ted Danson himself, of course, had to agree to it. We're deliberately playing against that type and giving him license to be fully a jerk and fully not sentimental. He's good with people because he knows how to cut through what he would consider all the BS of everyday conversation and get to the heart of things. But most of the time, his default, his return to center is sarcasm and walls. He's not a sentimental character in that way, but it works.
He sounds like a less genius House.
Sure, yes.
Gabbin about good place. You've told me that you have yet to finish the final season of this show.
Apparently, I have not stockpiled enough Kleenex to watch the season, which is what I've been told about this final season. It gets very emotional.
I'm a crier at media. I'm not ashamed to say, just an ugly weeping watching the Good Place series finale. So yeah, they really stuck the landing.
Excellent. I look forward to that. Michael is just he's so delightful. He's so delightful. And besides the fact that Ted Danson did going back to season 1, he did a wonderful job at the reveal, at the big shock. It was to go from this maybe in retrospect or in hindsight, too sweet to be believed character when we revealed his true nature. That was fantastic.
Absolutely. I think one of the 10 best moments in a sitcom of all time.
Not to rush through it, but that he could carry forward that love of humanity, that was real, right? And that he wanted to, his delight in the world and the things of the world. What a great performance. Just so much fun and so indicative, I guess, in one role, I guess, of Ted Danson's range.
And now a special Talkin' Ted Danson round of First Concert, Best Concert.
First concert was Rocky Roulette at the I think it was at Wonderland or the CNE. I can't remember, but I was a child. The best concert would be Paul McCartney on the Plains of Abraham in Quebec City. 300,000 people, free show, front row. Just incredible.
You are the third person to have their first concert at Wonderland, and second person to have Paul McCartney as their favorite concert.
The guy is a showman. The guy is a performer. He knows what he's doing. I'll tell you what 1B if there's time. Okay, 1B, Elvis Costello did a show. He was doing a tour, and the concert was a game show. So he had this big wheel, and he dressed up like in a top hat and glittery clothes, and he was like the ringmaster at this circus or the host of this game show.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing that he did a game show. Well, speaking of games, we like to play a game here on Talkin' TED. This is Wordplay, Swordplay. Wordplay, Swordplay. A guest from my previous show gives a riddle, a piece of wordplay, and you and I are going to work together to solve this. I have not read this.
Okay.
This is my first time reading this as well.
A nude mammal hardly carries fruit.
They do carry, the nude mammal does carry fruit, but it's just sort of barely.
That's right. Barely.
Barely, maybe. Okay.
Bear, nude.
Yeah. A bear barely bears berries. I'm very confident. I like it.
A bear barely bears berries.
Nice.
Final segment of Talkin' TED, both Talkin' TED Lasso and Talkin' TED Danson. What are you grateful for?
So much. Talking to you, spending time together. It's always a treat. I'm grateful for the fact that we have done a lot of artistic stuff together over the years, over the decades. Our humors are different, but very compatible, which is great. I'm grateful for old friends. I don't live in Toronto, where we both grew up and where a lot of our friends live. I live in Port Dover. It's not too far away, but I don't get home all that often, especially lately with the pandemic. So I'm very grateful for the fact that when I do get home and I hang out with friends like you and other friends we grew up with, it's just like slipping right back into like I never left.
We came from the exact same place, and so there's something to be said about the deep roots and foundation. That is something that I am fully realizing in my mid-30s. That was something that I would just hear about in my 20s, but it's felt right now. And in regards to compatibility and chemistry, I would say that you're probably maybe one of my most creatively compatible friends. And like talking about stuff, but also you helped me a lot with my journey into music. And so that is something I'm very, very grateful for. Thank you for tuning in to Talking TED. If you have any ideas for future episodes, sound off in the comments. Or, if you know me personally, text me your ideas. I appreciate you.